Welcome back once again to Trash Plays Tainted Grail, the 20 strong version of the game, not the big giant board game. Today we're going to be playing Duana versus Foe Dweller once again because I think Foe Dweller is supposed to be the easiest boss and I still need to defeat him. So I'm going to be playing Duana because she has 3 recovery and 3 strategy phase. So she's pretty good in terms of actually playing stuff. However, she does only have 1 health at the beginning. So I kind of need to defeat everything I need to fight. And let's begin. I am going to draw my first 3 cards. Those are going to be Find Weakness, Fatal Blow, and Charge. That's not the best hand I've seen, but anyways, we're going to be starting on the yellow, and I need to choose who I'm going to be fighting. Before they summoned, if this card is not defeated, discard it and add it to the Menhir stack. Ignore this effect in the endgame. Before they suffer damage. Okay, so if I can deal 5 damage to this guy, I can defeat him, otherwise he goes under the Menhir stack. His ability is cycle the top card of the enemy deck to the bottom of... Nah, that's not good. But yeah, I'm thinking that my plan is to just basically focus on defeating the enemies that have the lightning symbols to increase my stats instead of upgrading my cards. Because last time I just went hard on upgrading my cards, and eventually I was like, well, there's nothing else I really want to get rid of in my deck. And if I upgrade a card, I'm going to get rid of something. So I think that's my plan, is to not focus on the purple and focus more on these... one of these. I don't know which one it was that gives me stats, but I'm assuming it's this one because it has the +1 health here. So let's see, if this enemy's health is reduced by 2 for each other enemy in the active area to a minimum of 1. That's not going to be easy to do with yellows, especially with this hand. And Pale Lady, at the start of the engagement, shuffle your deck, hand, and discard together. Then you may draw a new hand equal to its previous size. At any time, you may discard 2 combat cards, exhaust 2 dice, or banish 1 dice to strike again. That's pretty good. And that's also going to be pretty easy with only 3 health. Crits cannot be applied to this enemy. And I get the Meat Cleaver card. Crits not being applied to this enemy is going to be very, very hard with yellow, so I guess I'm going to go with the Pale Lady. So we're engaging the Pale Lady. Now it's time to strike, and I can either play a card or draw a card. I am going to... well, I can't play a card because she has no nodes, so I'm going to be forced to draw a card, and now we're just going to roll all our yellows and hope with 3 sets of rolls I can get 3 hits. That's all I can hope for. There's 1 hit. Second... strategy phase, I'm going to strike again to draw a card and then roll to see if I get... whoops. Roll to see if I get more hits. Okay. That's 2 hits. Okay, that's 2 hits. I can't actually see what's like behind... I can't see anything past here, basically, from my point of view. But yeah, that's 3 hits, so that's going to defeat them, and then I'm going to get this card as an item. At any time I can discard 2 combat cards, exhaust 2 dice, or banish 1 card to strike again. So these are now exhausted, but I have 3 recovery, so 3 of these are going to come back. And now I need to turn this to green and put a card under the Menhir stack. I think I'm going to choose this one. This one does not seem particularly interesting to have around. So I'm going to put that under the Menhir stack, and now this is when this enemy is defeated. Immediately proceed to the resolve phase. I don't know what that means. Recover up to 3 dice or place up to 2 banished dice back into your dice pool. That's pretty good. And this one, sorry, this is the one I took from. This is now crit applied to this enemy, deal +1 damage. That's nice. And after the suffer damage step, gain the reward of an undefeated enemy. This is not great to have at the moment because there are no enemies that only have 1 damage, and I don't have an Ignore Pain in my hand. Oh, I also need to discard until I have cards equal to my strategy. I forgot about that. I guess I will get rid of the War Magic because it's yellows, and Find Weakness. Yeah, I'll get rid of these 2. But it would be nice to have around, I guess. Crits applied to this enemy, deal +1 damage. Yeah, it's nice enough to have around. I guess I'll go for the greens. Greens have a 50% chance of hit. So first strategy phase, I guess I'm going to just draw again. I know I should have... I need to focus on... whatever. I guess I'll draw again, and I'll just roll all my greens. I'm already, like, not committed to my actual strategy that I said I would do. 1 hit. Second strategy phase, draw a card, and then hope I get a crit and a hit, I guess. Crit and a hit. Excellent. So that's going to defeat them, and now I get this as an item as well. This is going to be exhausted. This is an... I can do this 1 time. Okay. I can discard this card to get this effect 1 time. After the suffered damage step, gain the rewards of an undefeated enemy. I'm going to get back 3 greens. And then these are going to stay exhausted. And now I need to discard until I have only 3 cards in my hand. I'm going to get rid of this Hex, because I can already play blues. Ooh, actually, now that I have my Ignore Pain, I can use this with this to just ignore one of these enemies basically to get the reward of the undefeated enemy. So if I go for the Meat Cleaver, I could just get the Meat Cleaver card. What is the Meat Cleaver card? Crit applied to this enemy, deal +1 damage. That's nice. So I guess I'll also discard my Final Blow. Okay. Yeah, I think I'll discard my Final Blow and I will get this Meat Cleaver. I also need to put one card underneath the Foe Dweller. Whenever an effect or ability will require you to banish any number of dice, you may banish those dice, but I don't have anything that... Oh wait, no, I can banish a ready dice to treat an enemy combat card as if it has one note it does not have. This actually would help me. No, wait, what I'm saying, I can't use this on the Bean Chiach because that deals 2 damage, I would ignore 1 damage, I would still take 1 damage, I would be at 0 health, so I can't actually do that. So I guess I will engage... Wait, am I engaging right now, or am I... No, I still need to put a card underneath here. I don't entirely know what this does, so I'm going to put this underneath here. So now for engaging the enemy... Or, sorry, engage the enemy. Fiora! I am going to grab this Renegade Troops, because this should be easy enough to defeat. You know what? I am on blue. I am on blue. Sorry, I am on blue. I think I want that health, actually. I'm going to grab the yeah, I'm going to grab the Unchained War Beast. So this Unchained War Beast has 6 HP because I have no other enemies engaged. However, should be easy enough. Actually, can I grab more than one enemy? Like, optionally, can I do that? I kind of want to. No, I don't think I can optionally choose to engage more than one enemy. Okay, so I'm going to activate the Unchained War Beast. I'm on blue. I guess I might as well roll my blue dice. However, I do still get a strike phase. So Gathered Thought is going to allow me to draw 2 cards and strike again. So that's going to give me these 2, and I can strike again. I'm going to strike again by allowing me to apply greens. No, I'm going to strike again by drawing a card. Yeah, I'm going to draw the card, and I'm going to roll my 3 blues, because I have 3 strategy phases. This should be fine. That is 2 crit and a hit. Oh my goodness, okay. So for my second strategy phase, I guess I'm going to just draw a card? I get the feeling I'm gonna hit, because I have, yeah, I'm probably gonna hit, so I guess I would just draw a card. That's gonna give me the Final Blow. Okay, so even if I don't, yeah, okay, this is gonna be easy. Roll, gotta miss. Third strategy phase, Final Blow, deal 1 damage to this enemy if it would be defeated by this damage. And it would be defeated by this damage. I'm at 2, 4, 5 damage. They are defeated. So now this is going to go away. And I'm going to get +1 health, so I'm up to 2 health. And now I can do the Ignore Pain thing. I'm going to get to recover my dice. This is going to go up to purple. These are going to go in my graveyard. I might as well recover... I have 3 recovery. I guess I might as well go for a green and 2 blues. Because I have the Entangling Trap in my hand. So then, as far as discarding cards, I'm going to discard Charge, Surprise Attack, and... No, just Charge and Surprise Attack. Yeah, because now I have 3 cards in my hand. By the way, this unique card for Duana is Fatebender. I can recover up to 2 exhausted dice or 1 banished dice, which is incredible. I'm like... Because the last game, I was like, I'm surprised there's no basic card that allows you to recover dice, and this is basically what I would want from a basic card that allows me to recover dice. So... Duana might be my favorite character just based off that. Now we have moved on to purple. I need to move a card under the Menhir stack. I'm going to move, skip the dice recovery step, recover up to 4 dice. I don't need this. I'm going to put this under the Menhir stack, so now we're up to 3. And I get to grab a card to engage. I mean, if I'm on purple, this seems like it would be pretty easy. Crit cannot be applied to this enemy, but I can apply greens to this, and I can also use the Ignore Pain to make it so that I can just take 1 damage from this if I fail. So yeah, I think I'm going to grab the Child of Morgan, who will give me +1 recovery, and then with the +1 card, I'm going to grab... yeah, let's grab the Bean Chiach. I think that might be a mistake, but I'm going to grab that. So, first strike phase... I am going to use my Entangling Trap on the Bean Chiach, and I'm going to roll my purples and my greens, and I'm going to hope to just get rid of both of these. Yeah, and I want the greens to go onto this Bean Chiach. Yeah, okay. Purple, whoa, all of the hits on the purples, okay. So, okay, yep. A crit and a hit on the Child here who will immediately give me +1 recovery up to 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 onto the Bean Chiach, and they are destroyed. They're absolutely decimated. So that defeats both of them. If this enemy is defeated, I gain the Meat Cleaver card. So this stays on the board. Now I get the Meat Cleaver card. Crit applied to this enemy, deal +1 damage, and I'm going to substitute that for the surprise attack. So this now goes into my graveyard. Now these dice are exhausted. This goes into my graveyard. These 2 go to the graveyard as well. And I get to recover 4 dice instead of 3. Let's go for 1 yellow, 3 greens, just because of the way that the things are going to rotate. So these are now exhausted. And now I get to put another... Okay, this is going to turn to red, and now I get cards underneath Foe Dweller. I guess if I'm going to red, I'm going to go after this Renegade Truce in hopes I crit. And in that case, what do I want to put under here? This is going to give me +1 enemy. Dice can only apply to this enemy if there are no undefeated enemy in the active area. That seems pretty good, actually. I kind of want to keep this. This reduces my thing. I don't want to reduce my stats, so I'm going to get rid of the Selkie. So now that I'm on red, I'm going to engage the Renegade Troops, and I guess I'm just going to try to hope for the crit on the red. Or some card that allows me to deal 1 damage. Plus, I can just use... Oh, I can't use my Ignore Pain. But that's okay, that's okay, that's okay. So, draw a card for my first strike step, and then rolling the red. That's a hit. I'm not going to apply this hit. I can use Duana. At any time I may banish a ready dice or to treat an enemy or combat card as if it was one it does not have. So technically I can still use this with my third one to give them a node to do the Ignore Pain so I don't take the penalty. Meh, whatever. Second strike phase, let us draw another card. That card is going to be Find Weakness. You may apply any 2 committed dice to this card. They deal damage to this enemy. That's not really going to help me at the moment. So let's roll for another crit. Not the crit. That's still a hit. So now it's my third strategy phase, and I kind of really want to defeat them, actually. Okay, fine. I'm going to use Duana's Empowering Ritual at any time I banish a ready dice. So I'm going to banish a yellow to treat this enemy as if it has a combat node it does not have. And I'm going to give them... It doesn't matter. I'm going to make it so that they can have yellow applied to them. And now I'm going to roll these, and if this red crits, I'm going to be very, very upset. This red did not crit, but I did get 2 hits, so I do get to defeat the Renegade Troops, who now becomes an item in my inventory. I need to recover now 3 dice. We're going to the yellow, so I can recover my 3 yellows. Okay. Moving on to yellow, and I need to put a card under the Menhir stack. This is going to give me Vigilance. It gives me +1 unit. A maximum of 1 of each color can be applied to this enemy. Wow. But I have my Find Weakness, so I could defeat the Claimed Chariot that way. But it's also going to give me +1 enemy. At the start of each strategy phase, exhaust 1 dice. That's kind of brutal. If this card is active in the endgame, get -1 HP. I don't want this in the Menhir stack. I think I want to put the Claimed Chariot under the boss. And now I have revealed the Witch Clause 1. Each time you apply to an enemy that does not match the current dial, -1 to any stat. Okay. Our current dial is yellow. I think it should be easy enough to defeat the Jury of Peers. I'm going to grab the Jury of Peers, and that's going to force me to take 1 more enemy. What is this Sick Fraudster? 5 HP. You may apply any dice color to this enemy unless restricted by other enemy effects. Okay. During the Suffer Damage step, you may reduce your strategy or recovery instead of your health so long as that stat would not fall below 1. Damage may not be split between stats. Ooh. That's pretty good. Sure, let's grab this guy. So these are going to be my 2 enemies. And now I need to figure out how I'm going to defeat them. I have 3 strategy steps. I can only have 3 items as well. So I should use up one of my items during this encounter. So when an effector ability would cause you to banish a dice, do not banish those dice. I could use this to give one of them a node with Duana's ability. And after the summon damage step, gain the rewards of an undefeated enemy. So I could also just ignore this guy and focus on dealing damage to this guy and use the Resentful Priest to gain this guy's card. Swap them out, basically. I think that might be the play. So I'm going to go after the Sick Froster, basically, and I'm going to use my Resentful Priest to gain this card. Or I could just go Ignore Pain on the Sick Fraudster, using my Renegade troops to not banish a dice, Ignore Pain, so that they deal me 0 damage, and then use the Resentful Priest to grab this guy. I'm on yellow. I have 3 strategy phases. For my first strategy phase, I think I'm going to... Well, there's only 1 card left on my deck. If I knew what my deck was, I would know what this card is, so I'm just going to look at this and see what it is. It's a Hex. I can apply blue to enemy. That doesn't help me in this case. Ignore Pain on Sick Fraudster. I'm going to put Ignore Pain on Sick Fraudster, then I'm going to roll all my dice. That doesn't look good from where I'm sitting. Okay, there's actually a couple hits. So there's 4 hits, actually, which is great, because I can apply dice of any color to this enemy. So he's going to take 4 hits, so he's 1 hit away. I'm on yellow. I'm actually going to apply 1 of those to the Jury of Peers. Second strategy phase, I am going to use my Fatebringer on the Ignore Pain. Chaining this with the Ignore Pain, I can recover up to 2 exhausted dice or 1 banished dice. I'm going to recover 1 of my banished dice, which is the yellow, and now I'm going to roll all of these again. So I need 2 hits and a crit for my strategy to work. Okay, that is 2 crits and a hit. If we want to say that this one was cocked, that's okay, because my plan still works. Let's just say this was a miss. And now I get to apply dice. I'm going to apply just a hit onto the Sick Fraudster. And then third strategy phase, I'm going to use Duana's ability, and I'm going to discard the Renegade troops so that I don't have to banish a dice. So now I can give him a node that he doesn't have. I'm going to give him a middle node, and I'm going to use the Find Weakness on him to apply up to 2 committed dice to this card, and they deal damage to this enemy. So this crit is going to defeat the Jury of Peers, and now I need to reroll these and hope for 1 hit, basically, for my third strategy phase. I did get a hit, so that's 5 hits, so I defeated both of them. Okay. So, I get both, I get both of these. I guess I probably should have actually not bothered with that, because I could have used the Resentful Priest to grab that. Never mind, I shouldn't have done that. But yeah, I'm going to discard the Resentful Priest, I guess. So those are going to be my 3 items. These are all exhausted. I have 4 recovery. I'm about to go into green, so I'm going to recover 4 greens. Now I need to put something in the Menhir stack and decide who I'm going to fight. Okay, well, I think that I don't need any more items. I'm pretty happy with the ones that I have. So I think I'm going to put more Gains Handmade under Foe Dweller, and we're up to 6 now. So we have 1 more fight after this current one. And now we get to choose who we're going to fight. I think I'm going to fight the Fomordian Sentinel. I know I want to increase my stats. However, this will give me +1 enemy, which is going to be kind of hard to deal with when I only have the 4 dice. So I'm going to go after the Fomordian Sentinel, plus it gives me Witch's Claw, which is a pretty good card. Each time you apply dice to this enemy that does not match either the current dial or the color of a dice already applied to this enemy, -1 to any stat, but I think I can take him out with the green. So first strike, I'm going to draw a card, and then we're going to roll, and I'm going to hope for crits. Whoa, 1 crit and 1 hit, so that's going to be 3 damage right off the bat. So I just need 2 more hits or a crit, which doesn't sound great, actually. So I guess now we're going to have to shuffle our deck, because I'm going to, what's it called? Draw another card with my strike, and we're going to get the Entanglement Trap, which also doesn't help me at the moment. Give me 2 hits. A crit. Works. Alright, that works. So now we have defeated the Fomordian Sentinel, and this is going to go away, and now we get the Witch's Claw, and I have to decide where I want the Witch's Claw to go. I have no cards in my discard pile, so I have to choose either a card in my hand or a card on top, and I don't really want to choose a card on top. I think I'm going to get rid of my Entangling Trap, because the Witch's Claw replaces the Entangling Trap. Entangling Trap gives me green, and Witch's Claw gives me red and green. So yeah, I'm going to get rid of my Entangling Trap instead. And these are all exhausted. I have 4 recovery. I'm going to get back my blues, I guess. And then it's going to be time for another Menhir card. I guess I'll discard the Press Gang. They do have nodes, so I could use cards on these, but I think I'm going to discard the Press Gang, so now we're up to 7 cards in the Menhir stack. And I have to choose who to fight for my very last fight. You may apply any dice of any color to this enemy unless restricted by any other cards. Didn't we already do that? Oh, I guess the Sick Fraudster also has the same ability. You may apply dice of any color to... Yeah, okay. When gaining a reward, gain the reward a second time. Well, this Hell Pig only has one attack. And I'm thinking I want to use this phase just to set up for the boss. So I think I'm going to fight the Hell Pig and not even bother trying to defeat it. I mean, I could try to defeat it. At the start of each strategy phase, and there's going to be 3 of them, I have to exhaust 1 dice. So I guess one of my blues is going to be exhausted. And once again, I'm starting at purple on the boss, even though I turned the clock back 1, so I would have been at red. And I'm a little confused as to how that happened, because when I simulate it, I end up at purple, not red, but whatever. At the start of each strategy phase, exhaust 1 dice. And if I defeat it, I can recover up to 3 dice or place up to 2 banished dice back into my dice pool. Okay. So I think I'm just going to take this 1 damage, so I'm back down to 1 health when I fight the boss, and hope I can work with that. So strike phase, I'm going to draw a card, and then roll our dice. I guess I have my Fatal Blow, so if I roll 3 hits, I could actually defeat them. Oh, that is 3 hits. 3 hits and a crit. Or a crit and a hit. And then at the start of the second strategy phase, I have to exhaust 1 more dice. I guess I'm going to just use the Fatal Blow to defeat it. Sure. So it's defeated, I can recover up to 3 dice or place up to 2 banished dice back into my pool. I am going to recover 3 purples because I'm about to go into purple with the boss. So yeah, 3 purples, and I still get my recovery phase, so I guess I'll grab another purple, a red, and a green, because I'm probably going to play the Witch's Claw. So that's going to be it for doing our stuff, and now I have to put 1 last card into the Menhir stack. I think I'm going to... This one can also have... Yeah, I guess I'll put the Silent Pilgrims under the Menhir stack, because any dice can be applied to this. It's going to be pretty easy to defeat. And that is 8 cards in the Menhir stack, so now we fight the Foe Dweller. And when we fight the Foe Dweller, we're going to shuffle up to the Menhir stack, and we are going to engage a random enemy from it. However, the back of these cards are color-coded, so I guess you have some hint as to what it would be unless you go in completely blind. I think instead I'm going to roll a d10, or a d8. Yeah, let's roll a d8, so that it is completely random. Okay, d8 time. What are we going to get? That's going to be number 2, which is going to be this blue one. And we are engaging... Wait for it. There it is. The Press Gang. This does have nodes next to it, and Foe Dweller has +1 enemy. Each time you play a non-basic combat card, banish 2 ready dice. And the Press Gang is just 4 health, 2 attack. And I kind of need to defeat both of them. I have... Witch's Claw is a non-basic combat card. How am I going to do this? I can defeat the Press Gang first because I have my Jury of Peers, who I can use its card to return all dice applied to an enemy. So once I defeat him, he stays defeated even if all my dice are on this. Then I can grab him back and use them to attack Foe Dweller. Yeah, I think that's the play. So I'm going to start by using my... this should have turned to purple. I'm going to start by using my purples. I'm not going to bother applying a card to him because I think the purples are going to hit. I guess I will draw a card at the very least for my strike. And we are going... That rolled off. Where'd it go? There it is. That's a crit and a hit. On to this Press Gang. So that's my first strategy phase. My second strategy phase is going to be drawing another card. That's Gather Thoughts and give me another hit. That is a crit and a hit, so that's going to be applied to the Press Gang. I'm going to apply all of them because you can choose to overkill an enemy. And then I'm going to use my Jury of Peers to return all dice applied to an enemy. So this is going to go back into my pool. So that's strategy phase number 2. As for strategy phase number 3, this guy is defeated. And when he is defeated, I get him as an item. When do I get him as an item? Okay, this is after the recover dice step. So this is going to be after I recover the dice. So now I have to deal with the Foe Dweller. I'm currently on strategy phase 3. This is my 3rd strategy phase. So I guess for Foe Dweller, I am now going to use my Gather Dots each time I play a non-basic combat card. This is not a non-basic combat card. I'm going to be able to draw 2 cards now and strike again. Actually, how does this work? Because I'm going to go into round 2. So active combat cards are still discarded in the cleanup phase as normal, even on those played on undefeated enemies. Only undefeated enemies themselves remain active. In the endgame, you will repeat engagements until one of the following happens. You win by defeating the boss, and all other active enemies, or you lose because your health is below 0. So skip activation. After the first round of the endgame, skip activation for all subsequent rounds. So we no longer do an activation, which is where we grab enemies, and that means we no longer get this plus icon. Yeah, so I guess we're now just fighting the boss, so they should be fine. I'm going to grab the 2 cards and strike again. For my strike again, I'm going to... Well, these cards are going to get discarded, so it doesn't actually matter. I guess I'm going to do nothing with my strike again. Does the wheel still turn? I think the wheel still turns. Yeah, I think we still do the cleanup step, so the wheel's still going to turn. So I guess for this strike, I might as well go all out with the purple. And that's going to be 2 hits on the Foe Dweller. And that's the end of my 3rd strategy phase. So now I need to discard until I have 3 cards in my hand. I'm going to discard the War Magic and the Find Weakness. Yeah, discarding the War Magic and the Find Weakness. I get to recover... Wait, when... Alright, sorry, this is actually very important when I do stuff. So first we suffer damage, then the after effects, then exhaust dice, and then we recover. So unfortunately... this is going to happen like this. I am going to take 2 damage from the Foe Dweller. I only have 2 health, but I do have my Sick Fraudster, so I can use my Sick Fraudster during the suffer damage step to reduce either my strategy or my recover by that damage instead, as long as it would not fall below 1. So I'm going to reduce my recovery down to 2. If I recovered first, I'd be fine, but since I didn't, I'm not fine. So that's going to go down by 2, so I'm down to 2 now. Then the after effects happen. Then we exhaust our dice, so these go into exhausted pool. And then we do the recovered dice step. Move all committed dice applied or not to your exhausted area. Oh no. Oh wait, so these actually, they're applied, so these actually go to my exhausted area. I thought they would stay between the rounds, so I actually have to deal 7 damage all at once. That's crazy. Choose any number of dice equal to your recovery, so I'm at 2 recovery. And I am going to use my Hex to give me my blues back, I guess. I'm going to use my Hex and my Witch's Claws, but I guess I'm going to grab my blues back, 2 blues. And now I get my item. This allows me to draw 1 card and strike again. And then cleanup is discard until I have 5 or the 3 cards in my hand. Take 1 enemy into the Menhir stack, which doesn't really matter at the moment. And then we're going to rotate this, so now we're on to red. Okay. And now this gets discarded as well, I guess. And now we just start the combat again. So, step 1, we're on red, so I can roll the red, and I'm going to apply the... I can't apply the Hex! Oh wait, oh no, this was a big mistake. I can't apply the Hex because he doesn't have the top node. I can banish a ready dice to treat an enemy or combat card as if it has 1 node it doesn't have. Should I just banish my green? I guess I'm banishing my green dice, so I can use my red and my green. So I'm gonna use my Hex, pretend he has a top node. How am I gonna defeat him though? And then roll for, I guess I have to fish for crits. Yeah, I guess I have to fish for crits. I didn't get any crits. I guess I will apply the red. I can't believe I got 2 misses on the blues. Second strike phase, I'm going to draw a card. I can recover up to 2 exhausted dice or 1 banished dice. So now we're going to roll our blues again. No, actually, you know what? I'm going to use my press gang now to draw a card and strike again. So I'm going to draw a card. And then for my strike again, I'm going to use my Fate Bender to recover up to 2 exhausted dice or 1 banished dice. I'm going to recover 2 of my blues. So now I have 4 blues to roll with. Ooh, 2 crits and 2 hits. I think that's enough. 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, that's enough. I've won. I've defeated the Foe Dweller. I think I might be misunderstanding some of these rules and I might have done something wrong, but I've defeated the Foe Dweller. If I did something wrong, let me know in the comments. I win. I win. Okay. Cool. Yeah, that was great. Although I'm having a bit of confusion as to how we're supposed to defeat some of the other bosses, because some of the other bosses are really, really scary. Like if I have to do the damage all at once, like how am I going to defeat this guy with 9 HP, who after every strategy phase in which you played a card, one or more cards on this enemy, I get another enemy. Like how am I supposed to defeat that if I have to do it all at once? So I think I might be misunderstanding that rule. I probably am not, and this card is just this game is just kind of brutal. But either way, let me know, and I hope I'll see you next time. Let me know if you want to see me play more Tainted Grail 20 strong. Goodbye.